Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are reacting to episode 21 of Vinland Saga, and we got to see a glimpse of Leif. Leif is in the same place that they are going to, that they are having this banquet and celebration of Canute because the father decided he can't kill him because of Askeladd's little political maneuvering, but they are going to attempt to assassinate Sven. So it's ramping up. It's going to be very interesting, especially because we only have a couple more episodes before we head into series 2. But the fact that we're finally seeing Leif means that him and Thorfinn are going to reunite. And I wonder if Leif will be the catalyst for Thorfinn realizing he needs to go home, or if he remains somewhat stubborn and hot-headed up until the last minute and then decides he needs to go home, which will be how episode 24 ends, and then it kind of leaves us on a cliffhanger for series 2. And then in series 2 we see him sort of going home and trying to adjust to normal life and maybe trying to let go of the anger and resentment that he feels. But I hope Askeladd doesn't die before this series is over, because I'll be really sad. I actually have a love-hate relationship with Askeladd, but I really enjoy him, and I hope he is in series 2 because it'll be really sad to see him go. And yeah, I just wonder how it's all gonna play out, because he's still really hell-bent on revenge. He still really wants to ensure that his father isn't dishonored, but that's not what his father would have wanted for him. And I think maybe Leif can kind of get through to him a little bit, but he's still very hot-headed and stubborn. I don't think he would even really listen to Leif. But maybe because he's now somewhat helping Askeladd and Thorkill with Canute and ensuring Canute gets the throne, that maybe he'll realize that it's better to work with them. And he's also kind of learning from Askeladd when he sees Askeladd holding back that rage when Sven was talking about his mother and being really awful in the way that he was describing her. He could have lashed out, but he didn't, because he knew that would be the stupid thing to do. He has to bide his time. He has to be smart. So hopefully Thorfinn takes that on board and realizes that maybe revenge isn't the wisest move. Or maybe he does seek revenge and gets revenge and realizes that that doesn't fill the hole that's within him, because the only thing that's going to make him happy is actually abiding and living by the philosophy that his dad has been trying to teach him. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 21. We're going to see Canute rally his army against his father, and also more of Ragnar's triangle conehead brother, who is really shocked by everything that's going on, because he's like, this wasn't the plan. The plan was to essentially get you into the Duchy of Normandy and keep you safe, where you could live out your days in peace without being seen as a rival for the throne. And now you're telling me that you actually want to inherit the throne. God damn it.
ヨークはスベンを率いるデンマークバイキングの支配下にあった。そしてこの地を起点に多くの奴隷がヨーロッパ全土に供給され。
I went on an excursion in York because I used to live near York. With school, I talked about this in the previous episode, that I went on like a Viking excursion, living the day as a Viking settler, and it was in this little Viking village, and it was really cool. I'm gonna try find this video so you can see little primary school Sophie. I'd have to try and digitize it because it would be on a VHS, and I also would have to edit it down so it wouldn't include all the other kids and would just maybe include me, but I don't think I was in it a lot. I think I was maybe in it like a couple of times. You can see me, but the school trip, I must have been about like 8 or 9, but I still vividly remember it because it was so unique and so fun. Of course, the history that it's based on isn't fun, but the school trip was, to the point that even at 31 years of age, I still vividly remember this school trip, and I don't remember any other school trips bar this one, especially in such detail. It really had an impact on me. But yeah, just because I saw York, I had to bring that up one more time, even though I've already talked about it before.
もう11年も経ってるんだ。
そろそろ潮時なんじゃないか。
No.
あの時トールズがいなければ
He
わし
made
ら
a
は無事では
promise.
済まなかった。恩には報いねばならん。
It's really sad because Leif is here because he thinks that Thorfinn has to be a slave, and this is the main slave trading port across all of Europe. So he's camped out here in the hope that he's going to find him because it hasn't quite crossed his mind that Thorfinn could be working alongside Askeladd, if only to get his revenge, but he's so sure that Askeladd would have sold him into slavery that he's refusing to move anywhere else but York, because at some point he's like, Thorfinn will have to come through here, and he hasn't found him because Thorfinn was never sold as a slave because Askeladd actually valued him and likely thought that would be dishonorable, especially considering the strength and courage that he showed and how alike his father he is in that regard, that he brought him along and treated him kind of as one of the crew. Askeladd could have sold him, and this is why I have a love-hate relationship with him, because he's a very complicated individual. He could have sold him, but he didn't. I'm still not over his reaction towards the village and harming everyone in the village, but at the same time, it's also like, I get it, because he doesn't like them because they harmed the Celtics, and he also sees himself as Celtic. It isn't even because he's Danish that he wanted to harm them. It is because they pushed out the Celtics into Wales and Scotland, and they also participated in massacring his mother's people, and because he aligns himself more with his mother than he does his father, and that side over the Danish side of him, that he resents the Anglo-Saxons for that reason, so therefore he feels no empathy or sympathy for them because of their massacring of his people, that he's like, well, what comes around goes around. But I still don't agree with it. I still think it was a heinous act, but in this environment, I can't really put my moral objections onto it because it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's kill or be killed. So yeah, but there are aspects of Askeladd that are very honorable and courageous, but also paternal towards Thorfinn, or as fatherly as he can be towards him, that make me love him. It's a really complicated dynamic that I have with Askeladd.
ここがヨ
Canute!
ークか。大きな町だな。
え
Leif and Thorfinn are gonna see each other!
王陛下はここに新王朝の拠点を構えるおつもりなのです。
Instead of London.
良い選択です。私でもそうします。
Has he seen Thorfinn? He has!
あの男
Oh wait, no, we saw Askeladd.
間違いない。あの顔を忘れるものか。
I was gonna say, has he maybe seen
忘
Thorfinn?
れた。トールズを殺したあの海賊だ。
例えば殿下とトルケル殿にそれぞれ別の領地を
Fuck him.
それは褒美であり命令でもある。逆らえばクヌート王子に範囲ありとなります。
I mean, he's already told his dad that he has rebellious intentions.
では、
Volker will be pissed. He likes to fight on the underdog side, not
いか
the
がでしょう
winner's side.
この辺りで世間様に何もかもばらしてみるというのは。
バラす。
Canute is the underdog. Oh
今
shit!
あなたがここで。
撃たれたぞ
Is this all a ploy
撃たれた
to make people turn against his father? I think he's padded because they knew that he was going to be targeted. Because they don't seem overly, like, terrified or scared by it.
あいつだ。あいつがいた。
He's going to see Thorfinn. He's not going to recognize this boy. Poor Leif, this small young boy that used to look at him with idealistic eyes and story of adventure, is out here assassinating assassins.
こいつだ。俺じゃねえ。狂気もある。
どうせ仲間に全部罪をかぶせて自分は助かろうって腹なんじゃ
I
ない
take it he's a slave trader.
いや、目を見りゃわかる。もうな
He's got his
強どんだ
daggers.
目でどっからどう見てもアクトゥーの連れで。うわ
Ooh.
もしかしてあんたトルフィン・カルルセブにトルフィン
He has a reputation.
名はトールズの子トルフィン。
Safe.
あんたレイフのおっちゃん。
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
よかったよかった。
Orphan's so confused. He's like, I don't know how to react to this.
そうじゃないかなとは思ってたけど。
バカ者。
He's so confused for a minute. It's not Canute. It's somebody who looks like Canute. It's a decoy because they knew that Canute would be in danger, that somebody would try and assassinate him. So they've used a decoy, which is a woman, because she's the only one that would have the feminine features to pull it off, to pretend to be Canute. But how? Because he was having that conversation with Canute. I'm so confused.
なぜ女なのだ。
男の奴隷ではお姿に似たものが手に入りませんでしたので。
Poor woman.
すまぬことをしたな。そのものをいたわって使わせ、できる限りのことを施すのだぞ。
あ、はい。
He's like, they're wily, they're crafty. So what the how? Though to be fair, I'm so confused. Hang on, I'm gonna have to go back and just watch that scene at the beginning real quick. But we see the cloak and we see the arrow make connection and we see Askeladd say that he got shot. Unless it's just deceptive camera angles and that because there were two boats, so the ones that are raising the shields don't have Askeladd on the boat. The person that got shot is the decoy on the other boat because he has the scarf over his head, whereas the decoy Canute has his famous helmet, which would identify him as the prince. So I think it's just clever angles that it makes you think that Canute actually got shot. But no, it was the decoy. Then Askeladd was really kind of unfazed by it. So I was like, oh, maybe this is intentional. And he's wearing like padded armor and they're going to spread this rumor of like Canute's father tried to assassinate him. Therefore, you need to rally around Canute. But no, they've used a decoy. Floki realizes how wily they actually are. But I was confused when they opened like the top and there was boobs. I was like, was I right all along that Canute was a woman? What? I was like, that can't be true. But I love that Canute showed her kindness and even was like, why did you pick a woman? But it's because no one else could have the delicate features of Canute. Because he has very feminine features.
どうやらこのヨークにはあなた様にあだ名さんとするものが潜みおるようですぞ。
Oh, Floki's like, I've been tasked with this as well. I think Floki's been tasked with assassinating Canute and making it look like an accident.
父上の探検でな。
幼い子供が戦場を生き延びて地獄を見てきたに違いない。
He has. He's been through a lot.
もう村の一つも作ったかい。
He's still the idealistic child at heart.
残してきた母と姉のことを聞かんのだ。ヘルガにはそれが薬だ。
俺はヴィンランドのことを聞いてんだよ。聞いてもねえことをベラベラと。
I think if he thinks about his mom and his sister too much, it would prevent him from wanting to pursue his mission. It would sway him to go back. So it's best to forget about it and it's best to push forward.
俺の何を知ってるってんだ。ああ、ハッセラットが 野郎が生きて飯を食いくさたれてる間は十分じゃね
Oh, Leif.
なんということか。あの陽気だった幼子が。
Because this is the life he's known. He never had any other choice but to be a warrior, to shed blood in order to survive. He doesn't remember home, he doesn't remember his mum or his sister.
いい部屋じゃねえか、ビョルン。羨ま
Bjorn's
しい。
still here? I thought Bjorn was gonna die in the previous
ぶち抜けの
episode.
報酬にしちゃ狭い部屋だ。戦場での切った切られたは恨みっこなしだ。ぐじぐじ根に持つのはトルフィンだけだ。いいから行けよ。悪巧みの時間なんだろ。
Time for you to make your evil plans. Oh, I really don't want Bjorn to die.
お前、足の具合はどうだ。
きっとくれ、剣を使うのに触りはねえ。
そうか。なら明日。
出し抜かれたな。
Bjorn doesn't look well though.
申し訳ございま
Did
せん。
say he wouldn't last much longer. So yeah, he was using Floki to assassinate Canute.
おじさまが殺されたって？
違うよ、影武者だったんだ。
物騒だね。これじゃあ夜もおちおち寝られやしないよ。
The rumors are being spread. Somebody's out to get the prince.
さあ、暗殺者がなんで王子様を狙ったのか。
Who would do that? Why would they do that?
いや、偉い人なんだし。
あ、でもよ、この町にはスベン陛下がいるんだぞ。
Maybe it's him.
後にかけんならそっちだろ。あ、それにお世継ぎは二人。
They're putting two and two together.
わざわざ次男の方を狙うってこと。
Canute is more powerful, more in line to the throne, that they should align with him over the older brother.
噂程度の話。そのくらいがちょうどいいのです。
This takes one rumor to turn everyone to their
王
side.
陛下側に余裕を残してやる方がいい。暗殺者を雇ったのはおめえか。
Of course he
自
did.
作自演じゃねえか。なかなかの演出だ。
I thought maybe it was Floki, but of course it's
噂を流すだけじゃダ
Askeladd.
メだ。
The theatrics are so him.
そこへこの暗殺未遂と噂。
この私が不利になるような命令は下せなくなる。
トルケル殿を殿下から奪ったり、激戦地へ送り込んだりすれば噂の後押しになる。
So he has to comply with what they want, essentially.
軍民の己に対する悪評は捨ておけんでしょう。
This is so underhanded and so clever.
力押しだけが戦じゃねえってことだよ。勉強になったろ。
今後二度と私の身代わりを立てることは許す。
いやー、感服しましたぞ、アシェラット殿。では、お話が一段落したようですので、私はちょっと用足しへ。
He's overly compensating. I'm a bit worried that maybe,
信用してはなりません。
yeah, he's not on
お
their
そらく
side.
スベン王に通じています。
Oh, I have to go for a walk. Okay.
勘ですが間違いないでしょう。
I agree.
だとしたらやばくね。今の話も知られるぜ。
かまあ、知られてもいいことしか話してねえ。
グンナルが患者であればどうする？殺すか？
彼を通じてこちらが
They'll feed him
短期決
false
戦を望んでない
information.
ことを王陛下側に知ってもらいましょう。当面の争いを避けるにはお互いの了解が必要です。
まったくそなたという男は。
Isn't it better to have him on your side than as your
明日の王
enemy?
陛下の反応が楽しみですな。
It's all mind games. But clever.
どいつも騙し合いに夢中か。それが戦士のやることか。
No.
俺のやることは。
It's what you've involved yourself in.
午前会議の前にどうしてもってわけかトロフィー。
Your arm's not even healed.
私がやめろと言ったら決闘は
Bjorn
終わ
was so worried for him
So
because his
worried.
leg.
結構です。が、少々お待ちください、殿下。実は戦略がありまして。
悪いな、トルフィン。すぐ済む。
Oh. Bjorn wants to go out like a warrior because he's dying. And this is what. This is why he was asking about Askeladd's leg.
アシェラ
I'm
ット
gonna cry.
あんたは
強くて賢い。あんたを尊敬してる。あんたが俺を腹の底では嫌っていてもな。寂しくねえのか。俺はさ、あんたと友達になりたかったんだよ。
Oh, Bjorn.
すまん、急所を外しちまった。すぐ楽に。
あんたと友達。
ああ、ビョルン。お前は俺のたった一人の
Friend.
友達だ。
Ooh.
送ってくれ。
Oh, Bjorn.
さて、待たせたら小僧。来い。遊んでやる。
It's the most unexpected episodes that get you. Like, I didn't expect that, but it makes sense why he's asking about his leg. And I thought it was because he was going to do a forfeit and he was worried that because of his leg, he would be hindered in that fight. But no, it's their duel because he wants to die with honor, he wants to die as a warrior, and Askeladd granted him that. But I think it could also be in relation to his duel with Thorfinn and wanting to ensure that like he's okay and that he'll survive because that's his friend. All he ever wanted to be was Askeladd's friend. And those words are you tired of rejecting everything? So many people you hate wanted to be your friend, they liked you, they cared for you, but you couldn't do the same for them. And I think he's so scared of losing people that are close to him that he pushes them away, he rejects them because the one person that he loved more than anything, his mom, he had to watch her suffer, he had to watch her die in pain, and I think that's had a knock-on impact in that he doesn't want to get close to people, he doesn't want to have to go through that again. He doesn't want the emotional turbulence and turmoil that comes with caring for people, but I think he shows he cares for people in his own way, and Bjorn was one of the very few people that he genuinely trusted with his life, and Thorfinn is the other, and Thorfinn is now somebody that he's having to duel because Thorfinn can't let go of that anger and that rage and that need for revenge. And God, this was just such like a sad episode in terms of the fact that we lose Bjorn. And I was wondering because I was like, I thought Bjorn was dying. Like I didn't expect us to see Bjorn again. I thought like he would just be written out, but this was such a satisfying way for Bjorn to die. It's really befitting of him as a warrior. So I'm glad that they didn't just like write him out and be like, oh, he died, you know, instead of giving him an actual proper death. But they did. So I'm happy. But God, that was heart-wrenching because Asta was like, you're my only friend. And he had to be the one to kill him. And the look on his face when he's like, oh, I missed the vitals. I'm so sorry. I'll put you at ease. And then, I mean, he still put him at ease, but with his words rather than his sword because he admitted to him that they were friends. And that's all Bjorn ever wanted was to be his friend. And he would follow him to the end. And he did. He truly was somebody to be admired for his loyalty and courage. And he never doubted Asgard. He never thought that he wasn't capable of overcoming any obstacle that came their way. I just am like emotionally broken right now. And then this episode coupled with the fact that Leif doesn't recognize the boy that he remembers from the village, this happy, cheerful young soul, but how could he remain that way after everything he's gone through? Of course, he's not going to be the same boy. After everything he's gone through, he's going to be changed beyond recognition. And as Leif was saying, I have to forget the past 11 years because he's had this ideal, this image in his head of Thorfinn that doesn't align with who Thorfinn's actually become. Because Thorfinn has grown up in an environment that's not the village. If he had grown up in the village with his mother, his father, and his sister, he would still likely have remained that happy, cheerful boy. But he has witnessed something no child should ever have to witness. He has gone to war. He's had to fight and struggle to survive. He's had no other choice. And that means killing and shedding blood. And you can see that he's becoming more and more disgusted at it. He's becoming more disenfranchised with the idea of, if this is what a warrior is, I don't want to be that. I don't want to deceive people. I don't want to be entrenched in this. And it's like he's slowly but surely coming to the realization that his own father did, that this isn't the life that he wants for himself. He doesn't want to continue killing people. He wants to live a better life, but it's whether he comes to that realization and goes with Leif home, or whether he just continues to go down this path. I hope he does come to this understanding that this isn't going to make him happy. It's not going to heal what's broken inside of him. And I think he is sort of leaning into that. He's sort of understanding it more now than he did. He is questioning things more. He's seeming more dejected with the idea of having to be this idea of a warrior, that it's making him think more about what a warrior means, which could then spur him on into thinking about everything his dad tried to teach him, and realizing that this is also what his father came to understand, that he didn't have any enemies. He didn't see these people as lesser than him, as people worth killing. He wanted to live a life of peace and happiness with the people he loved and cared about most, that he didn't need to be shedding blood and fighting in battles and potentially dying on a battlefield in order to be a warrior, in order to be respected, in order to have honor, that there are other ways to do that. I'm hoping Thorfinn kind of comes to that realization himself, especially when he's looking at Asgard, and Asgard is kind of shrouded a little bit in the light, almost like a halo, almost as if it's recognizing that Asgard may be a weasel at times, but even he has his own honor and he has his own code. But he's still riling Thorfinn up by saying, "I'll play with you, kid," as if he's not quite taking him as seriously as he would any other warrior. He sees Thorfinn as this child still, and Thorfinn isn't. I feel like what we might see is that Thorfinn gets Asgard in a position where he could kill him, but finds that he can't do it. Because he's been driven by this desire, this need for revenge, but he's also grown up alongside this man. He's fought alongside him, slept beside him, drawn bread with him. It's different to imagine killing someone versus actually doing it. And we know that Thorfinn has killed people before, but not somebody that he's just spent the last, God, like 11 years with. It's entirely different because it'll be the fantasy versus the reality. This is somebody that he knows well. This is somebody that has trusted him, that he's fought alongside with, and he can't quite bring himself to do it because he feels almost like it's dishonorable, even if killing him honors his father in his mind. But it doesn't honor his father. If anything, killing Askeladd dishonors his father, because this isn't the life that Thor's wanted for him. It's not going to bring him the peace that Thorfinn thinks it will. And I'm thinking he'll come to that realization, that he'll be close to doing it and then realizes that he can't quite go ahead with it because there is emotional attachment there, there is connection. And with everything else that's going on, Asgard can't die. I think he's still incredibly critical for the narrative, especially with Knut's narrative and getting him on the throne. But God, that was so clever. I thought Sven was the one that had hired the assassin and it was Floki that had organized it. But when he says we've been outsmarted, it's because Askeladd hired the assassin, had the assassin hit the fake Canute in order to spread the rumor and gossip, and rumor spreads like wildfire. They're looking at Canute as this noble prince and they're going, he's an important figure. So if this can happen to him, it could happen to anyone. Why would anyone do this to him? And then it gets people thinking where they're like, oh, why would they do this if Sven is here, his father, the king? Oh, could it be Sven and his men that have tried to take him out? Because he's the younger prince. He's not the prince that they want to inherit. Oh, how can we support a king that would kill his own son or would try to kill his own son? What a horrible, dishonorable thing to try and do. And they'll also then look at Canute as this kind, benevolent, strong king or potential king. And they'll be swayed to support him against his tyrant father that wanted him dead. It's playing on emotional sentiment, but it's also making Canute seem like the stronger candidate for the throne, because why would he be a target if he wasn't a threat to replace his father? But it gets them thinking, who would we rather have as a king? This young, handsome, noble figure like Canute? Or this old decrepit king who tried to kill his own son? Canute is the obvious answer, but I love the kindness that he showed that slave woman and then basically demanded that they never use a body double for him again because he didn't know, because he would have said no. That's why Askeladd didn't tell him. But I had a feeling Gunnar was being quite deceptive, and it was just the way he's like, I'm gonna go for a walk, and it's like, you've just had this really important conversation and that's the first thing that goes through your head. It's not at all suspicious, Gunnar, but the question is, how far back has this gone? Has he only recently started doing this, or was he doing this when Ragnar was alive and Ragnar never knew? Because again, Ragnar may have been blinded by the fact that it was his brother and loyal sentiment. This could have been ongoing throughout the entire time that Ragnar was trying to help whisk Canute away to safety, that Gunnar was maybe pulling strings in the background. I don't know if this is something that's only recently happened because his brother has died, that he's turned on Canute, or if he's always been sort of the spy for Ben. But Asgard is right in keeping him around because they can feed him false information and he'll go and spread that information to Sven. And Sven is never going to fully know the full picture because he's only going to get little tidbits here and there. He's only going to get what Askeladd and the others want him to know. But when he's not there is when they talk about the real plans. Asgard is smart. I knew that he would suspect that there was something not right with Gunnar. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. Until next episode, bye!